Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a top 10. It's top 10 Tuesday, alliteration, it makes sense. Okay, we're doing it, but this one's gonna be a little bit different actually. It's gonna be a little bit more casual. So I wanted to do a more commentary style top 10 because I want to talk about the most popular free-to-play games on Steam and give you my thoughts and opinions on each of them. So we're actually gonna go down the list here, starting from number 1 all the way down to number 10. And I'm gonna go through this list and we're actually gonna go a little bit beyond 10 and we're just gonna talk about some of these games and if they're good, if they're bad, why they're popular, you know, some ideas and stuff like that, and if you should play them or not. So here we freaking go. Starting with Dota 2. Dota 2 is an amazing game. If you don't know Dota 2, it's a MOBA. It's like the MOBA. Okay, it's not the biggest, largest MOBA out there. No, League of Legends is, but Dota 2 is basically the one that kind of made it popular. No, it is a MOBA. It is the MOBA. It's basically the MOBA that everyone branches off from and has created their own games from. So not only is it the originator, and it's a sequel of the originator, it's an amazing game. It's constantly updated. In fact, it's probably one of the most updated games of all time. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, it's probably number 1. It's probably the single most updated game of all time, actually. Even though it's relatively new, it released on 2013, it just has so much new content. And I'm not just talking about new characters or new items, but I mean like legitimately new systems, new like modding tools, an entirely new engine even with the new source engine. Like they just really update this game. It's not just meaningless content to grind, true updates. And this game is definitely going places. Even if you don't play it competitively, the mods, the custom maps, and all the stuff that's going to come from this game, who knows? Maybe you know how Dota started from like a Warcraft mod? Maybe a new game will come from a Dota mod. That's how big and awesome Dota 2 is. Totally can see why so many people play it. Now, Team Fortress 2, another game by Valve, is also amazing. If you're turned off by the graphics, don't be. It's actually a very mature game. Even though it's very cartoonish, I'll admit it, it's also very mature. You have co-op modes, and it totally deserves overwhelmingly positive. And some people complain that it's like a hat simulator. Dude, would you rather have hats or would you rather have a pay-to-win game? Seriously. And the hats are actually really freaking awesome. Not only that, but because, and this goes with Dota 2 as well, because this is a Valve game, it works with the Steam Workshop. You know, there's actually a lot of games that aren't Valve games that work with the Steam Workshop. So you have player-created content, and you also have player-to-player trading and purchasing. So an item that would normally in a game, like a hat, would cost $5. Sure, you can buy it for $5, or you can buy it from a player for literal pennies. Other than that, it's actually a really solid shooter. It's gotten consistent updates over the years, and they are pushing for a more competitive scene now. They rebalance the game. So if you're looking to get into it and be competitive, you know, even though it's such an old game, it's actually a good time to do so. Now, Warframe. This is a game that I'm just now jumping into. You're actually going to see a lot of new YouTubers starting back over again. Like they're starting new again, or they're coming back into the game like they played it before and they had fun with it. So I saw like Total Biscuit, Force, a couple others. They're getting back into the game. I myself I'm getting back into the game, but I basically never really started. I got a Warframe to level 30 and then I just stopped because I didn't understand the game. Basically, this is one grindy fucking game, okay? It's really grindy, but with the implementation of PvP that's starting and all the content that they've just been dishing out. Yeah, they add new items, new weapons, new warframes. What's cool about this game is that whenever they add something, it's functionally very new and very fun. Like it's literally like this is probably one of the grindiest games out there, but it's actually the funnest game to actually grind. I mean, look at this gameplay, like fucking ninjas in space, man. It's more than that though. It really is. There's a lot of strategy, not just mechanics, because yeah, it's a really fast-paced, awesome Unreal Engine game. It looks amazing. It plays fast on pretty much any machine, but it's also pretty strategic with all the different builds and customization. And you have to, yes, you do have to grind to get those items to customize your character, but like it's fun, dude. It's just something that's fun, and you have to turn your brain off and then just accept the game for what it is. And you'll discover there's actually a lot of depth to the game, seemingly, if you remove your bias. So yeah, totally worthy of being the most popular. Plus, it's also on PlayStation 4. Oh yeah, and I can't wait I would like to see an esports scene grow from Warframe. If they can get off of their peer-to-peer shit or their laggy ass servers, whatever it is, Warframe could be a really great PvP game. Now let's go on to Unturned. Unturned was actually created by a 16-year-old in, I think, it's called like Roblox or something like that. It was basically the predecessor of this game was created in a game where you make games, like it's a really childish game. Anyways, he ended up making this game. I think this is with the Unreal Engine, right? No, it's probably Unity. It's definitely Unity. Anyways, so basically a kid, man, a teenager made this game, and it's one of the most popular games out there. Essentially, this is the best free-to-play DayZ-like game. Yes, it looks really cartoony, but at the same time, I think a lot of people can get into it. There's crafting, there's vehicles, and you know what? A lot of zombie games don't have that. H1Z1 has really awkward vehicles. This game actually has real-time lighting, too. Even though it looks really cheesy, it's actually functionally like one of the best zombie survival games out there. In fact, you can see it's definitely way higher. Where the fuck is H1Z1 even? H1Z1, which is really popular. Did I miss it? Is it on the front page? Dude, H1Z, what the hell? H1Z1 is really popular on Twitch because of some streamers. But dude, come on, man. Plus with the news of H1Z1 splitting, yeah. Anyway, so Unturned is the best. There's another one called Romero's something. It's kind of shit. It's basically from the makers of War Z, which is free to play. That one's okay too. But Unturned is just hands down, in my opinion, the best zombie survival MMO thing out there. It's just goddamn fun, dude. Next, we have Clicker Heroes. We're going to skip this, though, because we're kind of focusing on online games. This is a clicker game. It's popular because it's novel. It's clicker. Cool. This is probably a lot of people's first time playing a clicker game. So we'll just click on this real quick. But it's a game where you just click. It's kind of like an idle game. You just mindlessly click and you go through different tiers of monsters. And I mean, it's a cool game, I guess, for what it is, if you're into that kind of thing. But anyways, next to Night Online, which I actually just did 2 first impressions for free MMO Station and Tag Gaming, if you guys want to see that. Let's click on this. Night Online is a really old MMO. Oh my gosh, emotionally negative. Actually, I put a negative review on here too. I can view my review of the game here and I'll read it here. It's an older MMO that was known for PvP, but in the end, it's done nothing to modernize itself, like many of its competitors. So whatever uniquity this game might have held for players when it first launched, it's completely gone and lost now. The game's just simply ugly. It's sluggish and really a gored example of an old game brought back to life. It's a fucking Frankenstein monster, except not even Frankenstein. Honestly, it's just bits and pieces, not even tried to sew together, really tried to be brought back to life. They just slapped it on Steam hoping for some last minute sales or whatever. I don't know, maybe the server's about to shut down. We'll play this trailer's better actually. This shows like sieging and stuff. So we'll skip this. It's supposed to be a PvP game, but it's actually standstill PvP, and the camera angles are awkward as shit. It's so weird. The control system is like top down, like Diablo or League of Legends. That's the controls. It's click to move and stuff like that. However, the camera angle is like World of Warcraft. Now, that's fundamentally just fucked up. You can't do that shit. You cannot properly play the game like that. Anyway, so supposedly there's all this siege warfare and all this epicosity, and maybe that's true, but the truth is that the game runs like garbage. It has not been optimized, and if you actually look at the trailers, you can see that they're not at full resolution. You cannot play this game at full resolution. The fact that you can't even upscale it to 1080p properly is a sign. Now, it doesn't look the worst. It's not the worst looking MMO, but it's like whenever you start playing it, it feels bad, and that just compiles onto the harsh textures and everything. The frame rate drops, and all in all, I would consider this game pretty freaking ugly, especially the art style, the customization shit, and basically it's just a shit MMO that whenever it first launched had potential, but relaunching, hell no, deserves mostly negative. Don't play it. It's only popular right now because of nostalgia, people jumping back in. That always happens with free-to-play games. There's always going to be on the most popular list a bad game. It normally sits right in this spot. And yeah, Night Online is that game this time. Now, last year I did this. Counter-Strike Nexon Zombies was on there, and I really didn't like Nexon Zombies. I thought it was pretty cheesy. It wasn't as good as the actual mod. It's probably a little bit better now, but still, it's kind of a cheesy, awkward game. Warface also not that good. Did you know Warface was actually taken off of Xbox Arcade because of its monetization schemes? Yep, sure, true. Anyways, but we're gonna go back down to our list here. War Thunder is freaking amazing, dude. War Thunder is great. War Thunder is essentially the World of series all in one game. It doesn't have aqua battles yet. It doesn't have submarines or anything, but it does have tanks. It does have tank battles. It does, and it runs amazing. The engine is so good. So right here, War Thunder is a free-to-play cross-platform MMO game. Okay, it says cross-platform. I never actually knew that. That's really freaking cool. Between Windows, Linux, Mac, and PlayStation 4. Wow. Now that I know that it's actually that, holy shit, I might actually get back into it. Even though it's not as competitive as World of Tanks, admittedly, I just feel like it looks so much better, it plays better, and it just like overall was a really refreshing take on the genre. And in one title, they added more than World of Tanks did in like basically 3 titles. World of Tanks had to answer War Thunder with a World of Airplanes or World of I don't even know what it's called, dude. But basically nobody plays it compared to World of Tanks. World of Warships is actually pretty decent, but I want to see War Thunder add in marine battles sooner than later. And what's really cool about War Thunder is that in some of the battles, you can actually mix. Sometimes in the tank battles, you can spawn in an airplane or, I don't know, vice versa, maybe for anti-air. Who knows? But overall, I feel War Thunder has the most potential, even though World of Tanks is bigger overall and more competitive. It's just, if you're getting into the genre, War Thunder is the safe bet. Going into Smite. Smite's also a free-to-play on Xbox One here, and I play Smite a lot. I think it's a really fun game. It's actually, it's hugely fun. Holy shit, dude. It's come so far from where it was. I think a lot of people jumped into it because it's like, you know, League of Legends. It's really hardcore and everything, so they jump into Smite to kind of just have fun, just to be silly. That's cool, awesome, but Smite actually became very serious. Smite actually became, it's not just a place where you go and have fun and be silly. Actually, this is a cinematic. Let's show the gameplay here. It's actually a place where you can go to try to actually be competitive. So it's actually competitive on Xbox One. Xbox has their own series, so it's separate from PC. So if you want to be competitive on Xbox as a free-to-play player, you can totally do that. Also, speaking about free-to-play, just for $30, you get all the gods, every single god, as well as you also get every future god, which is an amazing pricing feature that I think every single game that has monetization like this should actually include. So you have really awesome, very mechanical gameplay. It plays like a third-person shooter. No, there's no verticality, so like you're not ever going to aim up or anything, but it still feels and plays like a third-person shooter, and there's a huge amount of mechanics in the game, and a good player will always be a worse player, generally speaking. It's a very, very fun game. Mechanically, which is, I mean, you can just jump in and have fun and be silly, or, you know, if you want to be competitive, there's that. So let's go into Trove. Trove actually just added PvP, which is why I'm going to get back into the game. The PvP is equalized. So let's go ahead and show off some gameplay here, I think. Trove is one of those grindy games. Think Warframe. Like, basically, the grind is the fun of the game. You grind so that you can get new items, be stronger, better, cosmetics, a lot of cosmetics. Holy shit, hat simulator up the arse. But you actually gain all those, you attain all those. You can spend money to help you attain those, but really the grind is part of the fun. There's some really cool bosses. There's like a huge amount of epicosity with playing with players and doing all these dungeons and things like that. But it's a huge amount of replaying content. However, it's like fun. Okay, so next we got Robocraft. Robocraft, here we go. This is a really fun game, I think. Now, Robocraft is like World of Tanks, right? It's like War Thunder, except you build, oh my god, freaking dinosaurs now? Are you serious? This is one of the most updated games ever. Like, they add so much new content. Look, they're just showing off that new content. You can add so much. Like, I remember playing this game in alpha, and this game was so simple. It's like you just had tires, you had like a single turret or 2 different kind of turrets, and now we got fucking dinosaurs, man. We can paint, and, oh, what, the shark, it's a flying shark? Are you, oh my gosh, dude, Robocraft is so, and it's not just like cosmetics, right? Like, yeah, it's a flying shark, but functionally that shark will fly different to another vehicle. As you can see, it actually fundamentally works and mechanically feels and plays differently to other vehicles, especially flying vehicles. It's very hard to actually make a flying vehicle. Very fun game, pure and simple. Think World of Tanks mixed with Minecraft. It's just that, except fucking insane. And it's actually becoming very competitive. You can totally see why it grew to be one of the most great games. Okay, so we're actually going to skip these 2 games. These don't count on the list, basically. Well, not online, I guess. I don't know. Clicker Heroes isn't online. Not online, I think, is going to fade from the list because it's shit. So let's talk about Path of Exile as the next game here, and then we'll end it off talking about the few others that are upcoming. So Path of Exile is like Diablo, except it's more like Diablo 2. It's like Diablo 3 kind of was a departure from Diablo 2. Path of Exile is more like a spiritual successor to that. So let's get into some gameplay. It has a huge amount of replay value. It does have some grind, but basically when you play in normal mode, it's kind of hard. It's fun, but when you play on the real challenge and the real game starts when you beat it the first time and you replay it on hard. The whole game has this huge amount of customization with, like, you can actually mix and match different spells and you can modify them. It's almost like you're crafting spells, and then you're really crafting your own character. There's so much customization. So for an RPG, this has the single most in-depth actual customization for like the RPG mechanics. Now, the cosmetics are pretty simplistic. The game is also not pay to win whatsoever. In fact, the PvE, the challenges like the running through and leveling, trying to level as fast as possible. There's actually like ladders and stuff for PvE. So the PvE is actually competitive. They even have PvP PvP as well, which I don't know how competitive that is, but I'm sure as time goes on, as the game is more popular and it's more refined, just like Warframe, the PvP is going to get better and better. But Path of Exile is one of the most popular games. In fact, many people critically claim that it's better than Diablo 3. So if you like Diablo 2, or if you've never played action RPGs, Path of Exile is a great introduction into that genre, because the story is really good, amazing voice acting, really good story overall, and it's just like, I don't know, man, it's freaking great. Even though generally I don't play this genre, and generally I don't like grindy games, this game was fantastic. It's definitely, even though it's dark and everything, it's so fucking, it's such a spectacle and so explosive and very immersive even for a top-down game. And lastly, we could talk about these two games. So Heroes and Generals is, think Battlefield, okay? Think Battlefield, except I don't know if you can play it on the browser anymore. It's got mixed reviews because it was really shitty early on, really laggy and everything, but there's a lot of mechanics to the game that's very interesting. Now, I also believe that it is kind of pay to win. I think a lot of complaints might be pay to win. If we go down here, active member, Heroes in General, lost TeamSpeak. I think people, like, it's one of those games that enthusiasts like. So it's like one of those games that I guess kind of like if you like the genre, you're gonna love this game despite its flaws. However, a lot of people won't be able to get in because it's kind of clunky. It might crash a lot. I know that was my experience. But kind of the clunkiness is part of the charm because it is sort of like a historic sort of shooter. You can even ride fucking bicycles. As you can see, the weapons don't have like perfect scopes and shit like that. They're not perfectly aligned. It's really rough around the edges, but some people are just kind of okay with that. And this is one of those, iffy games. Just like H1Z1 has mixed reviews, H1Z1's a good game. It really is a good game. It's just kind of shit. It's kind of hard to explain if you guys know what I'm talking about. And finally, Brawlhalla. We'll talk about Brawlhalla here. And yeah, Brawlhalla, basically Super Smash Brothers with some unique mechanics. I mean, it's in the same genre as Super Smash Brothers. You can't say it's a clone because Super Smash Brothers was the first of a genre. It's a platform fighter, right? 2D platform fighter. And you actually have weapon swapping and weapon throwing mechanics. And you don't have probably like the full moveset that you would have in Smash Brothers. But you do have a lot of cool things that you can do with the weapon mechanics, picking up weapons, dropping weapons, throwing weapons, and overall, it's a fun game. Plus, it's free to play, which is probably why it's so popular. It's also newer, so that's kind of why it's high. It might drop down a little bit. And other than that, we got Dirty Bomb, which is a fantastic game. Terra is fantastic. Neverwinter's kind of awkward. If you really like Dungeons and Dragons, maybe you'll like it. You can actually make your own dungeons. But that covers the most popular games and see popular new releases here. We got Spellweaver. Oh yeah, Spellweaver might be up and coming. It's a card game. I don't know how I feel about it. It's kind of okay. I think Hex is better, and overall like Duelist is better. But yeah, there's not too many up. Hold on, wait. Maybe let's see what's coming soon, and then we'll end this video on coming soon. Cabal is probably going to get negative reviews, even though I thought it was an okay game. It's just another older game that's trying to come back, just like Night Online, and the rest look like dating simulators, and Prime World is an older game. So I guess that's actually, what's Heavy Metal Machines? It is a racing game that is in co-op and multiplayer. It kind of looks like Rock and Roll Racing. Oh, that might actually be pretty cool. It probably won't be popular, but it seems pretty cool. Anyway, so that looks like that's it. Those are the most popular free-to-play online games on Steam right now. Those are my thoughts and opinions on them. Hopefully you enjoyed this Top 10 Tuesday. Thanks, guys, for watching. And if you want more Top 10s of all sorts of different kinds, be it casual, be it like official like my other ones, I don't know, whatever. I'm going to be doing Top 10s every Tuesday, so come back for that, like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.